My shoulder hurts too much to hold up my phone, so today you get the double chin, because when I look down, I end up with, like, 4 of them. So, that's the thing we get today. I was working with somebody in one of my writing groups who had a question about marketing, and he was talking about how the best memes that he likes to post are things that get him, blocked on social media and stuff, and I was like, don't post those on your author social media. Don't do it. It's a bad idea. And he didn't seem to entirely understand why, because he came from the philosophy of any attention is good attention. And that isn't really how it works. The way I put it to him was that author social media to some extent is like a cocktail party. You know, everybody is, for the most part, behaving well. And if you're the guy who shows up in a clown costume and gets naked and jumps in the chocolate fountain, that's all you're ever going to be remembered for. You can't unring that bell if you get naked and jump in the chocolate fountain. Everybody will hear about it, everybody will know about it, and it's all you're ever going to be known for is the chocolate fountain situation. So, when you're dealing with your front-facing social media, I'm not saying not to address issues that could be contentious, but make sure that what you share and what you post on your social media in public is going to be something that, if it's brought up later, isn't going to be something you're like, ooh, I know, that wasn't me. Because if you are doing that kind of thing, once you're the dude in the chocolate fountain, you can never be anybody else again. Or if you start a new pen name and try and create a new brand for yourself so that nobody knows it was you, you'd better make sure nobody ever finds out that you're that guy. Because then you'll be that guy all over again, and there's no escaping it. You can't go down that road and come back. Once you go down it, you're there forever. And if the people you're writing for aren't the folks who thought that you jumping in the chocolate fountain was amazing and is the best thing they've ever seen, if you're not writing for those people, they're not your target audience, exclusively them, you're not going to have any luck selling your book. Because if you're writing for some of the people who are horrified that you were naked in the chocolate fountain, they're not going to buy from you. And unfortunately, no matter how you may feel about people behaving is, can't we just let this kind of stuff go? Things that happened in the past, do we need to hang on to it forever? No matter how we feel about it, the reality is, monster's cute. The reality is, everybody is going to remember, and you're never going to escape that stigma. She agrees. You see, she's clawing my chair. You're never going to escape it, so don't. Stay out of the chocolate fountain. It won't help. Yes, this is a Borderlands hoodie. Yes, I'm a Zero fan, and I preferred Mordecai because Bloodwing. Anybody who knows, knows. Alright, so this is another case of E has been on Facebook and probably shouldn't be. This was in an urban fantasy reading group. This is not a writing group. This is for readers. And this author comes in and posts an image of their book cover, which is just god-awful. The image is of 2 guys screaming in each other's faces, badly photoshopped, wrong lighting sources, and a woman in the front who's just like looking like she wants to beat them both with a newspaper or is incredibly bored. And the 2 guys behind her either need to kill each other or make out, I'm not sure which. And apparently they're brothers, so it's that kind of story, which, I guess I'm not going to yuck somebody else's yum, but anyway, and it's just, the fonts are all wrong, everything about it is bad. And it's this werewolf paranormal romance, and which I don't have anything against. Some of my best friends are werewolf paranormal romance writers, which I know sounds stupid, but it's true. Jace Carter, I love you, your books are amazing. Anyway, so there's this cover, and it's god-awful, and the blurb doesn't improve it, and the blurb and cover, worse, don't even match. Because the guys who are, about ready to eat each other on the cover are, in fact, brothers, and they're competing, not getting ready to murder each other, so there's that. And all of these readers in this group are like, hey, your cover is not really great, and your blurb has grammatical issues, and there's stuff that's wrong with it, so... Because this author was asking, hey, I got a book launching soon, check it out, I'm really excited, what do you think of my cover? And everyone's like, ooh, it's awful, please don't. And instead of saying, alright, sorry guys, or accepting the criticism, or saying nothing, the author instead made this really nasty post about how this was supposed to be a group of professionals who weren't behaving professionally. It was a writing group full of it wasn't a writing group, I'm sorry. It was a readers group full of readers, not professionals. I think they maybe thought they were in the wrong group, and if they were in the right group, they would have been eaten alive, but none of the feedback was mean. Oh, thank you. And this author decides to get really salty and unfriendly with these potential readers that they want to buy their book. And they have made a terrible mistake here. Don't be mean to your readers. Don't expect your readers are going to sit there and let you talk crap to them. Because if you're trying to sell them your book, don't be a jerk to them. If you're being mean to the people you want to buy your stuff, hi. It's not going to be of any benefit at all to anybody. And it's certainly not going to make you look good. The writing world is small enough as it is, and the minute you start doing that stuff, you start getting this well-earned reputation. So, don't do that. Be nice to your readers. This cat is obsessed with strawberries. My hand is covered in drool. I was eating them earlier. Not even up here. It's like catnip to him. He goes absolutely bonkers. My mother was giving me crap about recording my TikTok video, so now she's in it. As you can probably tell, I am recovering okay. My mother's just being a brat because she heard me recording from the other room and decided to make fun of me, so time to torture her back. I'm doing okay. My newsletter went out just the day after my surgery. Thank you for auto-send. If you aren't attached to that, it's the 15th and the 30th of every month. There are a couple flavors. One is for writers, one is for readers. I give some tips for writers and talk about some stuff that readers might be interested in. I'm feeling better from the surgery. I'm not recovered yet. I'm still, in a splint up to my shoulder, but we'll see how that goes. But I'm feeling more human, so huzzah for me. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I should be back to being my wonderful, salty, editory self soon. Take care. Hi everybody, you're gonna get the not best camera angle ever here because I have to rest my elbow on the arm of the chair because it's still tired from surgery. I'm recovering really well, got most of my movement back. There's still some pain, but that's just gonna be a thing. There's a lot of inflammation I'm working through. I hope everybody had a good holiday. Ours was quiet and very uneventful, which was nice, to be honest. With me recovering from surgery, quiet and uneventful is kind of what I wanted out of life. But I'm back to salty editor mode today. So I came across somebody on TikTok who's offering to do a line edit on an entire novel, doesn't matter how long, for $250. I'm not going to talk crap about this person because I don't know them. For all I know, this could be a newbie editor who has no idea what their worth is and is charging almost nothing because they don't realize they're worth more than that. I'm not going to shame them for that. I was there once too. It took me a while to realize, oh, I'm worth more than $2 an hour or $10 an hour, because $10 an hour is not editor pay. We study for many years. I would be more likely to put us in the category of we are book mechanics. So if you're looking to get into editing, look at mechanics rates. If you don't think you're good enough to command that rate, that's fine. Charge a little less, but we're book mechanics. We should charge accordingly. If this person isn't being honest, you will find out really quick and you'll be out $250. If editing costs sound too good to be true, they are. Don't trust it. An average edit for me, for a line edit, for a 60 to 80,000 word novel is going to be between $1,200 to $1,500. If that sounds like a lot, it is. You're asking for a huge amount of my time. You're asking for the expertise that I have built for over a decade, and you're asking me to do a lot of work. And sometimes this takes a very long time because it depends on how many errors you have. If you send me a really smooth, clean, lovely book with few errors that I don't need to torture myself with, it might be less than that. If you send me a disaster that I have to go through and fix every version of your and their in it, it's going to be more. I tend to combine line and copy editing, so that's a me thing. But make sure that whatever editor you choose to work with, whoever they are, get a sample edit if you can. Some editors charge for this, some do not. And talk to them. You may or may not be able to get references because of confidentiality, but they should be able to give you at least a little bit of information. They should be able to tell you how long they've been doing it. So, just keep an eye on it. Be careful. Love you for infinity. Looks the same! So, let me start this TikTok off by saying, I am a historian, as in an actual one. As in, that's me. I have a degree. History. So, when I talk about this, I actually know what I'm talking about. I can guarantee you that. A friend of mine told me about a book series she's reading, where magic is a thing, but it's not used for this. This country has been locked in war for 10 years, and that entire time, it has been winter. There's no spring. They cannot monster bath. They cannot grow crops. They cannot produce food. And she messaged me saying, you know more about this than I do. If it's always winter, would there be bees? And could they get honey for mead? And of course I went, no. Because, well, if it's never spring, there's no flowers, and bees don't do so hot and cold weather. That's why they either hibernate or die. Those are the two options. And then she started telling me more about this book series. I'm not going to get more into detail about it. I don't even know the author's name. But I can say this. There's something that really, really annoys me as a historian. People do things like that a lot in fantasy. And they'll also do things like have cities, vast, thousands and thousands of people cities, with no farms. Where do they grow their food? If you look at historical maps of, say, London or pretty much anywhere else, you will see vast areas of farmland adjacent to any big city, because they needed to feed those people, and you couldn't ship a green pepper from Mexico to New Hampshire in that time period. It was not a thing. So, shipping food, I mean, they could ship certain things like dry grains and so on, but collectively, they grew it adjacent and they farmed adjacent to the cities. So if you're going to be having a massive city and it's going to be always winter, never Christmas, recognize that you'd better have some understanding of the fact that you are defying the laws of reality. Now, if you're trying to just do your own thing and it's fantasy and there's magic involved, great. I'm okay with that, suspension of disbelief, but there are some things, like, if it's been 10 years and they're starving because they can't grow food, they'd be dead by now. Look up what happens during nuclear winter, more or less. Like, that's it. They wouldn't have food. The animals would all die because they couldn't grow things to feed them. The bees would die and they'd have no crops. There would be nothing. It would be a barren wasteland that nobody could live in. So, do yourself a favor and do at least some cursory research on that sort of thing when you write, if it's going to be a thing you write about. It will save people like me our blood pressure.